Here's an inspiring story inspired by the struggles and triumphs of many African footballers, a tale of poverty, perseverance, and Premier League glory. From dusty streets to the Premier League, the boy who refused to give up. In the slums of Lagos, Nigeria, 10-year-old Tunde lived in a one-room shack with his mother, Mama Bola, and his elder sister Bola. His father had abandoned them years ago, leaving Mama Bola to sell roasted plantains by the roadside just to pay for Bola and Tunde's school fees. They hawked bottled water after school just to support their mother. Some nights they went to bed hungry. At times when rain fell at night they couldn't sleep because of the leakage on the rooftop. Sometimes Mama Bola cried quietly at night when she thought her children was asleep. But Bola heard. And every tear his mother shed became fuel for a fire burning inside him, making him tell himself, I must be successful, not matter where I find myself. But with all this, Tunde had one dream: football. Every evening, he played barefoot with a half-deflated ball on rocky, dusty fields. His talent was obvious: his quick feet, his vision, his hunger to win. At times he goes to watch Premier League football at a football center on the street. He couldn't afford to pay, but he would assist them in cleaning the place before the match started, so he could watch the match for free. He wanted to be like the African footballer who have gone through something similar with what he went through. His dream was to play in the Premier League. But Mama Bola worried. Football won't feed you, my son, she'd say. Tunde's life was a relentless cycle. Wakes up 5 a.m., fetch water, help Mama Bola set up her roasted plantain stand. At 7 a.m., he would rush to school, often late because he had to work first. By 3 p.m., after school, train alone dribbling rocks, shooting at a makeshift goal, and sometimes goes to train at a nearby football field. At 6 p.m., goes to hawk bottled water. Then he and his sister would help Mama Bola pack up. At night, he studied by candlelight. Some days he collapsed from exhaustion, but he refused to quit. Broke boy. Taunts. Other kids mocked Tunde for his torn shoes and empty stomach. Some players from the field where he trained called him Oliver Twist, because he always looked hungry. But Coach Ali, one of the coaches from the field where he trained, saw something special in Tunde. You play with your heart, he would often say. And that, my boy, no one can teach. One day, Tunde came to training limping. He had stepped on a nail while collecting firewood, but he refused to stay home. Coach, he said, I don't want to miss today. What if this is the day someone notices me? Coach looked at him, shook his head with a smile, and gave him a second-hand pair of boots. These are yours now. Keep going. Tunde wore those boots like they were gold. There was a time Mama Bola once collapsed from exhaustion at her plantain stand. Tunde had to carry her home, crying, wishing he could do more. I hated seeing her beg for customers. I swore I'd never let her suffer again. He said. At age 14, he was selected for a youth tournament in Abuja. It was the first time he left his state. He played like a boy possessed, scoring 2 goals and assisting 3. A scout from an academy in Lagos noticed him and offered him a full scholarship. It was the beginning of everything. But Mama Bola cried, What if this fails? What about your education? But Tunde promised her, I'll make it. I'll take care of you. At 15, he fractured his ankle in a street game. No doctor, just a local bone setter who wrapped it crookedly. He missed 3 months, nearly lost his academy spot. For 3 years since when he joined the football academy, he juggled morning classes, his mother's condition for letting him play. Brutal academy training, the coaches called him the Hungry Lion, because of his consistency still helping Mama Bola on weekends. At 17, Tunde got his first trial with a Nigerian Premier League club. He failed. The coach said he was too raw. Devastated, he nearly quit. He cried over and over. But he remembered he had to lift himself and his family out of poverty. Month passed, and fortunately for him, he was selected to the under-20 national team. A match against South Africa in an under-20 friendly match turned heads, and within months, Tunde had a trial with a second division club in Belgium where he was selected. It was cold. He missed home. He didn't speak the language. But he remembered his mother roasting plantain under the hot sun, and he kept pushing. He rose quickly. His speed, agility, and vision earned him a move to a bigger Belgian team. At age 20, a German team signed him, where was fortunate to play in the Bundesliga, and his performance was exceptional. But his dream was always to play in the Premier League. While in Germany, he kept sending most of his earnings home, making sure his mom and sister had a better place to stay, and they didn't lack anything. And 2 years later, he had the biggest signing of his career. He was signed by one of the biggest Premier League teams, a dream he had scribbled on the back of his school books years ago. When he signed his first contract, Tunde didn't buy himself a fancy car. He bought his mother a house. He flew her and Bola to England for his debut. She sat in the VIP section, dressed in a simple dress, wiping tears with a handkerchief as Junior stepped onto the pitch. The stadium roared. He touched the ball, passed, scored. Commentators shouted his name. Mama, he said after the match, hugging her in front of the cameras. We made it. Journalists asked his secret. He said, I played every game like it was my last, because for me, it was no food, no school, no future unless I succeeded. Tunde never forgot where he came from. He started a foundation to help young boys from slums play football and stay in school. He visited his old neighborhood every year, rebuilt the broken training pitch, and funded his former school with books and shoes. And every time people asked him, "What's the secret to your success?" he answered, "A dream, a football, and a mother who never gave up." Why? This story matters. No excuses. Tunde had every reason to fail. Poverty, no father, hunger. But he used it as fuel. Family. First, he never forgot his mother's sacrifices. Education plus passion. Even as a footballer, he finished school, proving dreams need backup plans. Thanks for completing this video. Do not forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this.